And I'm finally getting to make the tape that I've been going to make for a long time. This summer was very, very busy with the training program, with very little time to be spent in the library or working on the library. The room that the library is in was used all the time for Peace Corps classes, so the library wasn't open this summer. And I just haven't gotten to making a tape in September because, again, of the library, but because of all the work we've been doing in it. It is really exciting to finally see this year what's being done with the books that we've been sent, and to finally see a library emerging out of all this. I guess you realize that in Typhoon Gilda we lost a lot of books, that the library moved to be around a classroom, and that the books you sent were were cataloged by the teachers here, many of who did not really know how to do it. It's hard to explain this to someone who really isn't at all familiar with it. And we finally got the books on the shelf, but not all of them. And some were mistakes, and it really wasn't until the end of last year that the library was operating at all efficiently, if it can be called that. In September, we started really working. Some of the new volunteers are interested in the library and know something about it. And right now, all the books are on the shelves. They're categorized. We start at one end of the library with children's books, and then on to junior fiction books, and then on to fiction books. And then we have a non-fiction section, which is just divided into groups: science and social studies, math, music, biographies, collections, man. That's in the science section. Various sections of non-fiction, and then we have a reserved section with special books that we don't want to leave the library because they're particularly good to have there all the time. The library is not being used as a classroom this year, and we're having it open every afternoon and every evening, and then it's going to be open to classes during the day. Every class has been receiving library instruction, which is something new, and the teachers have had one class on the library and will be having more. Most of them don't know how to work in a library or are not familiar with how to find books or what books are available. And it's really exciting to see the library finally functioning as a library. The card catalog is, I guess, full. One of the girls is going through and checking to put cards in there, and we hope even to have a card file eventually that people will be able to go to find books they want. It'll take us a long time to get that arranged, but we hope to have it. The dictionary you sent is just marvelous. I hadn't really had a chance to look at this before, and it's really excellent. We've made a separate little place for that with a table and a chair so that people can look up things that they want. We've decorated the library with new book jackets and with posters so that it really looks nice. And it's just really exciting to see how everything is going. I wish somebody could come here and see it. But I'll try to take some slides and send them so that your gifts from last year are finally really organized and functioning very, very well. Our children's section, which was non-existent before your books came, is now quite ample and is really a pleasure. The classes that came to the library this past week, almost all of them have gone to the children's section. Even, our children in the junior high school, these are the books that they can read. Our fiction section can really only be read by some of the very, very top students. And the golden books particularly, and Dr. Seuss books, these books that the children can read and get some satisfaction, hopefully eventually learn how to take care of books, maybe even to want books of their own, and to start realizing what they can learn from the books that we've got. We've also started a little collection in the library. I hope to expand it into kind of a museum. Right now they're just Japanese dishes and bottles and shells, but we hope to get some things just from Rota and expand this to the whole community. This is one extra project. Also, we hope to get a collection of Micronesian books, and we're writing to find out if the Trust Territory can send us in. We may have a money-raising carnival at the school to see if we can earn some money to purchase some books about Micronesia, as we don't have any in the library. And this, I think, would be nice to have, and for the students to work for. They're interested in working for this, and it'd be nice to build up a section of Micronesian books. Also, we want to get some of the people in the town, learn some of their legends and stories, and print them, even if it was just a typed book for the library kind of thing. Get students to find articles and make a little history of Rota. This would be something that we'll probably work on a little later, but again through the library probably. We're also thinking of trying to get an air conditioner in the library, possibly by, depending on how much money we could get from a carnival, so that the books can be kept well. Everything mildews very quickly, and as long as there's enough air going through the library, there are windows on both sides, it's fine. Anything that's kept in the cupboard isn't very good. And if we start getting, say, new books on Micronesia, it would be nice to know that they'll last a long time and not disintegrate like everything else out here. But that may be a project that we'll do in a few years. So that should give you a pretty good view of what the library is looking like this year. Rota itself is looking very good this year. The many houses are being built out of cement. Almost every new house that's going up is cement. And this should be quite a bit of protection for the people when the next typhoon comes. And the village is looking a lot better than it has for many years. The typhoon blew away the shabby buildings, and it's nice that they're being replaced with good buildings. Everyone's looking forward to St. Francis Day, which is the biggest feast we have. Really enjoyed the addition that you made to my parents' tape, Mrs. Chapin. It was very nice of you to take the time, and I'm sorry I haven't answered on a tape sooner. We've really been up at the library many times past dinner, working on it to have it in the good shape that it's in now. You mentioned being interested in continuing to send something to Rota. It's hard for me to believe that you've done so much and that you still want to do something more. There are so many things that we could need and could use. I'll tell you, but I know that I'm late in responding, and maybe you already have some other project. For the library, now that we've got the children's section, at least now that we have it existing, if you were able to get any more books, I think we'd want specifically non-fiction books and more children's books. The children's books worked out very well. Now I'd like to see the non-fiction section move ahead a little more. We have a few books in many categories. Some books we've got nothing of, but the children are very interested in the kind of books that are included in nonfiction. For example, sometimes someone will come up interested like in cooking, and we haven't got any cookbooks. We have a few old music books, but sometimes the teachers would like to look and find, say, songs they could use with their classes. I don't know what kind of books would come out of a drive to get nonfiction books, but there might be. It might be good, and then again it might not. But you mentioned one large thing, and I've given this a lot of thought, and I've talked to a lot of people about it. What I've decided I'd like to see most are some maybe globes or maps. So we've got one globe that we just got last week, and I think we've got one map. And these are for the use of the teachers. They're kept in the office and then checked out. But this is one of the hardest things for the children here, is to visualize where things are and how they are, the relationship of sizes. And I'd like to see some more things in the library about this, because it's just, they'll ask what island I'm from in the States. They think of Massachusetts as an island, and to really get the idea across is, I guess, impossible. Now, I don't know too much about globes, about what's available. I'm wondering if any contour kind of things are available. Anyway, anything made out of cardboard, like a cardboard globe, doesn't stand up. The moisture gets to it. Something would have to be plastic or metal, I guess, or a map, of course, would be of paper. I thought of trying to make a flour and salt map, maybe of Rota, just to teach some people how to make this kind of map. But again, I don't know what's available, but this is just an idea of a need. I'm not even sure it can be met, or how well the library could meet it. We have some overhead projectors that Trust Territory has sent in. Our principal here feels that we could really use I guess it's an opaque projector that you can just put a book in or a page in, but I've no idea how much those are or anything about them. I'm trying to get a set of childcraft from the Trust Territory and a new set of encyclopedias, so we may be getting those from out here. We're trying to keep in contact, with the Trust Territory, which is supposed to supply us with things, and see if we can get these things. So we'll see what happens. I don't know, I feel kind of funny about pen pals. Many of the children here don't write English that well, but I know they like to write people. And I guess the students would be understanding of poor grammar and this kind of thing. If anyone were interested in writing somebody here, I'd be glad to find them somebody to write or supply names. Probably be better if a whole bunch of letters were sent, possibly to send them in groups to save on the postage. I'd really like our students to become really aware of the United States, but it's so hard. Pictures are very, very good, like pictures out of a magazine that depict certain scenes. I don't know if anyone, say, had extra, just maybe collected some pictures that would be of interest, maybe to put on file in the library. I guess that's a lot of work. We don't have too much out here, although I've tried to send Mother some Micronesian reporters to put, I think to put in your library there if anyone's interested in looking at them. We've got a couple new ones that I'll send out. The children here really appreciate the books that were sent, particularly this year now with the library open and being sort of so new now that everything's in order, and they know that where the books came from, and they are really starting to learn how to use the library and to appreciate it. This training in how to take care of books is very important, since the reading part of it isn't quite developed yet. Many of the children still can't read too much. Students and teachers alike are so excited about the books now that they're all set, and everybody thanks you for sending them and for thinking of us and